Hi everyone, I wanted to talk a little bit about failure in this video and what exactly that means. I'm going to be talking specifically about failure in the creative, artistic world. And when I say failure, I mean my version of failure, and that is a failure to make money from what I produce in a way that will sustain me financially for some period of time, or actually reaching enough people that your work resonates beyond like your initial circle of maybe family and friends who want to support you. I'm aware that's quite a narrow definition of failure. I think that even if you create something and you finish it and you're happy with it, then that is indeed a degree of success. Many of us have ideas that we never see through to fruition or don't fully complete. I'm just very conscious that I've produced a lot of different projects, most of which have failed to find an audience of any particular size, and most of which certainly have failed to make any money back. For me, and I don't know if this is true for a lot of people, but for me, I've over the years been very, very seduced by kind of the J.K. Rowling, George Lucas kind of narrative. You know, the story of this struggling creator, and they're the only one who believes in their idea, and the whole world is against them, and they have no money, and they pull out all the stops, and they pull through, and they produce something wonderful, and the whole world explodes. You know, those things do happen. And me being quite a romantic and quite martyrish, I've often been seduced by the idea when I've been sitting alone at my desk in the dark hours with no money, slaving away on a project, thinking, yes, this is gonna be my George Lucas moment, my J.K. Rowling moment. And I've been on that cycle, on that treadmill, probably about 5 or 6 times with various projects, still not reaching an audience, still not making money. What on earth does someone who is creative and inherently artistic, how on earth does a person deal with that continual disappointment and continue to make stuff? First, though, I do actually have some work to do, so yay, I do Sutty's social media and emails. He's a children's character, so I'm going to do that. I need to send a few other emails, and I'm also writing a novel, speaking of creative plans that may never come to fruition. Well, no, I will finish this, but it may not make any money. So, yeah, I'm going to go do that. So between 2014 and 2015, I did what I thought was a great project, and actually I still think was a good project. I did my own animation series, a series of animation, a thing called the Trimmings that was designed for kids. It was kind of inspired by old TV shows like The Magic Roundabout and Paddington Bear and things like that, and I thought, I want to make something a bit like that, maybe do 10 episodes. And even though it was very basic animation, it took exactly a year to create. Working entirely on my own from an animation point of view, I wrote some of the episodes with other people, a couple of friends. But yeah, basically, it was just me, my computer, and a room almost every day for about a year, producing these 10 5-minute shorts. And I was happy with them. And in terms of like creative vision, they came out exactly as I hoped and wanted. For me, I was 100% fulfilled. I was going for this kind of retro look, and I feel it came across. It did what I wanted it to do. But as with many things, not many people online watched it. The people who saw it, like family and friends, were supportive. I'm like, yeah, that's good, we like it. But in terms of taking over the world, not really. No! He cried. I think what the Trimmings highlighted for me, though, is just how oversaturated the internet is, and especially when you think how many hundreds of hours are uploaded onto YouTube every day. There's so much noise. To actually gain any traction and to actually reach a large number of people is very, very difficult. I think sometimes a person could curate the most lovingly crafted, beautiful thing and maybe only reach about 5 people. the important thing to remember, I think, from a YouTube specifically point of view, is that people are ultimately selfish with their time, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We all are. I don't sit down and watch videos on YouTube that I don't particularly want to watch. And yes, you can say that people have a need to be entertained, but I think that is too broad. And I think what you will notice about a lot of content creators, artists, creatives on YouTube, a lot of the time, the more successful videos are fulfilling a very, very specific need that people have in their lives. Not necessarily a business need, but you'll see a lot of a day in the life of a doctor kind of videos that do very well, where people have a vested interest in actually seeking knowledge and finding out. They watch those videos through to the end because they're engaging, which matters also. And then often they'll become interested in the creator behind them and will become loyal to that creator and will follow the next videos. And that's often the pattern that takes shape. If you just have, as I have, 10 random children's shorts, some people may find them, it's unlikely. Some friends will watch them and they might recommend them to other friends, and you'll get maybe a few dozen views, and those people may like it. Nobody was very critical of the trimmings. I'm not saying it's perfect or indeed above criticism, but I don't think the reason it didn't find an audience was because it was bad. I just think it's one of many hundreds and thousands of things on a worldwide global network, lost in a sea of other great creative things. So I don't feel too badly about it from that point of view, and I don't feel ashamed of making it. Of course it's discouraging when you make something to be seen and not many people see it, but does that mean you should stop? Not necessarily.
Quite an adequate bit of work, eh? Toffington remarked.
I should add to that, actually, the reason that some things don't find an audience or that don't gain any traction is because maybe they're just not working, and maybe they do need to be tweaked, and I think that involves a degree of self-awareness and self-criticism and ability to take criticism from other people and look at how things can be done differently. I don't know who said the phrase, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Was it Albert Einstein? I can't remember. But I think there's a great truth in that. Sometimes the creator is required to stop and go, this isn't working, I need to change direction. Only if the intention is to find an audience. Sometimes it's a case of continually tweaking to see what sticks with people and what resonates. If you're only creating stuff for your own fulfillment, then I don't think there's any reason to change unless you're not happy.
You say at least it was worth a try. At least it was worth a try.
Ultimately, when it comes down to it, the only person at the end of the day who has to be happy with what you produce is you. So if really you're only interested in satisfying your own creative vision, then my advice really is just to go for it. But if you do want to build an audience, find an audience and grow what you're making and potentially make some money, then don't be afraid to fail, and to fail a lot, because you probably are, repeatedly. Take it from someone who has done over and over again, and those failures may be very public in terms of sales figures, viewing figures, a number of dislikes on a video. It's going to happen. It will be about building up resilience, taking the discouragements as they come, and being prepared to move forward and being prepared to change and to adapt and to realise that this may be a long marathon run. You may have 5 or 6 J.K. Rowling, George Lucas style ideas over and over, and they may all be really good, but not all of them are going to hit home with other people, so you need to be ready for that. Do you believe? I don't know, it's all a bit far-fetched for me.
Says the man with a talking computer.
Oh, you had to bring Mac into it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like a combination of two things. I want to create things that are satisfying to me and, you know, that I enjoy and that I am fulfilled by. But also I want to create stuff that people do watch and that does grow. So for me, I'm trying to find that sweet spot in between. What can I create that I love that other people like as well? And that doesn't mean I won't just create stuff in the future that is just for me and I don't really care. But I do really, really want have a career of some sort in video making and YouTubing. So for me, that's going to mean a lot of experimentation, a lot of playing around, a lot of listening to people, a lot of listening to feedback and discovery. So I think probably on this channel specifically, over the next few months, you may see things changing a little bit or going in a certain direction as I play around. And let me know what you think. I'd really, really value your feedback. Tell me what kind of things you'd like to see, what you've enjoyed in the past, what you maybe think isn't working about what I'm doing. That's really helpful as well. I can take it and I value it. So if that's really what you're after, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to experiment. As Doctor Who once said, failure is one of the basic freedoms. We're all free to fail. And personally, I take the view that if I create something that goes down in flames, then at least there were flames. I'd so much rather there were flames than I reach my deathbed and look back and go, oh, if only I'd tried that idea or experimented with that concept. The regret for me would be far worse. So if you're struggling, maybe focus on how much regret you'll feel if you don't try. And maybe all those really, really positive emotions will pull you through. Otherwise, thanks for watching and see you in the next video, whatever on earth it may be.